Hi, I'm Janice Schutz. I am the Executive Director of Washington State Community Connectors, which is a family-run organization serving the behavioral health community. And you're here today at an event brought to you by Washington State Leadership Initiative, WSLI. And our mission is to elevate family voice, provide connections so that family voice is respected, amplified, and heard in order to support children and youth with special health care needs and their families at all levels in Washington. Our vision is that children, individuals, and families in Washington State, including those with special health care needs, will be healthy, safe, resilient, and included. And this organization began in 2018 and started with a small grant and is funded currently by the Department of Health. There are several different organizations throughout the state that participate regularly, including those that are here today, and also Dad's Move and the Fathers Network and Washington State Community Connectors, which is us. And we're always looking for more people from more family orgs that support any type of health-related need for families. So that's WSLI in a nutshell.
I'm Teresa Van Pelt. I am the parent-to-parent network support coordinator, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to start with a video. It's just 1 minute long.
My name is Danielle. I have one child who has a disability. He has cerebral palsy, hydrocephalus, epilepsy. So it's been challenging. When you get this diagnosis, it's kind of, I don't know, you kind of feel alone. How I got involved in parent-to-parent was there was a couple other moms that I have known previously through my son going to preschool. And through that, I was told about the support group, Parent-to-Parent, and that they have all these fun activities to kind of make your different life feel normal again. I reached out to Parent to know that I wasn't alone for that support, to answer some of the questions that I had regarding my child and his development. It was very surprising to me that there were other people out there that are just as lost and sad and looking for that support as I was. And Parent had that. I stood back for many years. And then once I was finally able to accept that it's okay, that it is okay to be vulnerable, I absolutely love it.
Washington State Parent-to-Parent provides social, emotional, and informational support to parents and caregivers. As you've seen in that video there, we are parents who are raising a child with a developmental disability and or special health care need. We're providing support to parents and caregivers by parents and caregivers. We do this with early outreach, support, and education to parents and caregivers. We match trained volunteer support parents with a new parent who has a child with a similar need to a child of the support parent. And then we help navigate through support, tools, and resources. We were established here in Washington State in 1980 in King County. We now have a parent-to-parent program in every county of the state. That's 26 programs, 50 coordinators, 14 programs with multicultural coordinators, offering Spanish language programming and African American programming. We have various sponsorship and funding sources, and our leadership consists of Tracy Hoppus in Yakima and myself, the support network support coordinator, and we have Patty Gonzalez, who is our multicultural support coordinator. Our mission is that we walk alongside parents. I can't actually see what this is. Parents that are raising a child with a developmental disability and special healthcare need and connect them with peer support. Our vision is that all families of children with a developmental disability and special healthcare need deserve encouragement, inclusion, and meaningful connection that support family well-being. We believe that parents and caregivers want the best for their families. We commit to creating a safe space for reflection. We practice inclusion and respect for all with a commitment to listen fully and learn from the diverse viewpoints of families we serve. We honor the rewarding and challenging work of parents, caregivers, and community partners. We engage community partnerships through outreach, listening, and education. And we promote building communities that are equitable, non-biased, and socially healthy, where all families and children can live inclusive, safe, and fulfilling lives. Some of the outcomes from having a parent support match is gaining acceptance of the disability, improving coping skills for your child and your family, improving progress in meeting primary needs, improved feelings and competence, and increased sense of belonging. So 80% of parents find parent-to-parent support helpful. It should be an essential component of comprehensive family support. The kind of support parent-to-parent offers is unique and cannot come from any other source. And parent-to-parent support increases parents' acceptance of their situation. And these are things that come from parents and researchers.
Well, anyway, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Christine Griffin and my pronouns are she, her, and I am middle-aged female, white female with graying hair above the shoulder. I have horn-rimmed glasses and I'm wearing navy blue and a colorful scarf. I'm also a parent of 2 adults who are deaf and hard of hearing, and today I'm going to be sharing with you about Washington State Hands and Voices and our Guide by Your Side program. So, to begin with, there's a procedure called newborn hearing screening, which you may be familiar with if your child has been born since 2000. In Washington State, families can choose to have their child screened right after birth. This is also called the 136 guidelines, meaning it's important to screen a baby by 1 month of age, and if suspected from that screening to have a hearing difference, they go on to diagnostic appointments with a pediatric audiologist by 3 months of age. And if the child is found to be deaf or hard of hearing, it's ideal for them to be enrolled in early support for infants and toddlers by 6 months of age. So just curious, if you think about our state, how many infants are identified each year? Feel free to just put that in the chat. I can't see the chat right now, but it's just would be interesting to see what your thoughts are. Right, so moving on, there's approximately 160 infants identified annually in our state.
Oh, wow.
This does not include the number of kids identified later after that infant age. A hearing screen can detect possible hearing differences, but it's not an identifier, and it's not a pass for life. It's only good for 1 year. So sometimes being deaf or hard of hearing is called the hidden disability and gone undetected, even in mild or unilateral hearing levels. It can result in delayed speech and language acquisition, social, emotional, behavioral challenges, and lags in academic achievement and employment rates. So the journey a family goes through upon discovering that their child is deaf or hard of hearing is a distinctly personal one, leading to choices that others probably shouldn't judge. Parents have the moral and legal authority and responsibility to make decisions on behalf of their child. And 95% of children who are born to hearing parents. Oftentimes, their child is the first deaf or hard of hearing individual they've met. So the learning curve is steep. It's important that parents and caregivers remember that their child has the same potential that they would have had their child been hearing. Parents still have the same natural skills to nurture their child, to engage in play, and to interact. While raising a child who's deaf or hard of hearing, there is a different approach as compared to raising hearing kids. With the right supports, tools, and techniques, most parents quickly can adapt to help their child not only exist in the hearing world, but to thrive. Here enters Washington State Hands and Voices. We were established in 2007, dedicated to supporting families of children who are deaf, deaf-blind, deaf-plus, and are hard of hearing, while supporting and respecting all language and communication modes. We are a parent-driven nonprofit organization providing resources, networks, and information needed to improve the communication and educational outcomes of our children. And this support we offer to families whose children are in Washington State between the ages of birth to 21. We are also funded by the Washington State Department of Health EDI program, or Early Hearing Detection, Diagnosis, and Intervention. Our motto is, what works for your child makes the choice right. We are also part of a wider network of other chapters in the United States, Canada, and in Kenya. We help others by sharing ideas, advice, we collaborate on projects, and we pass information of interests along to parents as well. We have 3 pillars of family support that we offer in Washington State, and that includes our Guide by Your Side program, which is trained parents called Parent Guides connect one-on-one with families who request the support. We offer family events and workshops, offering that in-person or virtual events and workshops for parents and caregivers to increase their knowledge and confidence levels. And then we also offer advocacy and leadership. So we are present at stakeholder meetings and at the table to increase the system of care for families whose children are deaf or hard of hearing. We also guide families to grow their own advocacy and leadership skills. After this, I'll talk about other things that we offer and give a tour of our website. Thanks so much.
My name is Patty Marshall, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a parent. I'm a person with lived experience in long-term recovery, and I'm the executive director at Guided Pathways for Youth and Families. We are in King County and primarily focused on serving youth and their families and supporting them in whatever way they see. I'm going to get rid of my toolbar here. Hold on just one second. There we go. That little box was probably in everybody's way. There we go. That should look better. We are primarily focused on supporting youth and their families. We recently have updated our mission statement, and it kind of reflects the language that's current, which is really important to us, one of our values. And our GPS mission is to provide peer-based support for whole person wellness and community belonging. And we empower youth and family success however they envision it. I heard some similar language in other organizations' mission statements and really appreciate that. We've come a long ways in a decade or so of really getting off the ground as a grassroots family organization, and it was really important for us to update our mission. We've been working hard on that recently. Our current programs and services that we offer to the community are based on peer support, and we do parent support and parent and family education, as well as social events. We feel connection is one of the priorities for making sure that there's access and reduced stigma and just really help both youth and their families to be able to connect to other people and not feel isolated and alone, especially if they're struggling. And our youth peer services include working in the schools, in the community, working to support youth to be their own leaders, growing leaders in training, as well as using youth peer-to-peer support for youth and young adults. We also do peer workforce development, increasing access to trainings, being able to support families and youth that want to go into peer work, or youth with any work that they'd like to go into, but we do a lot around communication skills and working with your employers and going into the community and working with other behavioral health agencies. We have partnerships with quite a few other youth and family serving organizations to try to really leverage what services each of us specialize in and be able to do cross referrals. So we do a lot of partnering. We're also really using volunteers to, lead and drive our decisions, like our mission statements and all of our planning. We currently are recruiting for our work groups, including our volunteer community advisory board. Our community advisory board is also a direct link to our board of directors. So really trying to include youth and family voice in all the decisions and processes that we have. We specifically have some work groups around grant writing and fundraising, marketing, community outreach, those organizational needs, and specifically around strategic planning and really looking at what our short and long-term goals are going to be, both within our program and, the overall organizational directives. We really believe we should be driven by research and data and a constant quality improvement plan. So we do want stakeholder engagement in that process as well. And then really being sure that we're working from an equity lens and getting into the community and being sure that we're engaging with the right people. And finding ways to be inclusive. So that's one of our big needs at this point, and one of our organizational shifts to include more opportunities across our systems in order to include that youth and family voice in what we do. Our values statement is also been just recently updated. In fact, it's a draft we have permission to share, but we're still working to create our final. We still are at the stage where we're getting more community input. We're going to be sending out some newsletters and getting some focus groups before we make a final approval. But I did want to kind of read some value statements we've come up with, and that is that our values reflect a youth and family driven community organization with the principles of trauma-informed peer services as our foundation. We discover behavioral health and wellness solutions with our youth and families through peer services, support groups, life skills, education, and social connections. We reduce stigma through sharing our stories, developing connections, and providing workforce development. Really, we try to get out there and spread the word as much as we can. We support family and youth voice and choice by modeling self-advocacy and actively engaging with the system of care to support change. It's been a shift, I think, in the peer support world in general, but especially in family and youth services, to really refrain from giving advice and advocating for people and making a shift to advocating for system change and including people's voices directly at the tables where they can speak to the change that would be effective for them. Excuse me, rather than speaking for them, which is what I think for years we felt was the right thing to do. And now we know better. We intentionally shift power and resources to the community, and we advocate for culturally appropriate behavioral health services. And we generously offer our technical assistance and develop collaborations that benefit youth and families and are built on an anti-racist, community equity, and organizational wellness framework. I'm going to end my pre-presentation anyway on just that we really focus on collaboration with the community, with the other systems. It's why we're here with this group, and we just wholeheartedly believe we can't do it alone, that we need to be together with everyone and really understanding those resources. So More to come in the later presentation. I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
So good day, everyone. My name is Jill McCormick, and I am a program director at PAVE, and I am a parent of 3 individuals who are impacted by special health care needs and neurological differences. And I am going to share. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman wearing a multicolored shirt. I wear black rimmed glasses, and I have short, very white hair. So, PAVE, Partnerships for Actions, Voices for Empowerment. We are a family support organization, predominantly family-run organization that has been around for about 45 years. That started with parents whose children were highly impacted and were receiving no supports and services. So PAVE started out as around educational supports within the school systems and support for military families at what is now Joint Base Lewis McChord. And it has expanded into multiple programs. Our mission is to provide support, training, information, and resources to empower and give voice to individuals, youth, and families impacted by disabilities. Our vision is an inclusive community, let me pull this up here, that values the unique abilities, cultures, voices, contributions, and potential for all individuals. PAVE utilizes a website to provide a lot of information, both in articles, videos, toolkits, and that is also where people can come in and connect to get one-to-one supports and or training. And this is through the Get Help button here. And I will later on show you how to, use that. We do have an e-newsletter that goes out monthly. We have webinars, we have translated materials, we have bilingual staff, Spanish, Tagalog, Tlingit, and a couple of folks who are beginning to learn some of the Klallam and Quileute languages. We use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have YouTube videos, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. So here are now the programs that are a part of PAVE. We have the statewide Lifespan Respite Washington, which is connected through the Department of Aging, Long-Term Care and Services, and is a voucher system for unpaid family caregivers to gain some respite. And we have the Pierce County Parent-to-Parent program. We have person-centered planning out of that program. We have STOMP, which is our special training of military parents, which it works in our state, but also across the country and in installations across the world. We have the Parent Training and Information Center, which is the statewide support through the Department of Education for special education. We have Start Now, which is a Pierce County based group around programming for school districts for those transitioning students to gain and learn those transition and life skills. And Spark is the youth advocacy portion. Oh, and my program, which is Family to Family Health Information Center. And that is a statewide program around special healthcare needs, access to care, coverage, systems navigation. So this talks about the Parent Training and Information Center and just some of the things that they work with children and youth with disabilities in the classroom, and extracurricular activities, children and youth with disabilities to help meet developmental and academic goals, children and youth with disabilities who are to become as productive and independent as possible. And it doesn't matter whether the student is currently in an IEP or 504 program or is considered potentially needing those supports and services. The parent program, like Teresa shared, is geared to provide emotional support and information on the community resources in Pierce County for those parents who have a child with a disability or chronic healthcare need and or a developmental or a neurological disability. They have support groups. They have a Spanish speaking support group, a Black African American support group, an awesome autism support group, and a Native support group. One way. Oh, sorry. Extra voices. And Family to Family Health Information Center, like I said, is around children and youth with special healthcare needs or who are impacted by chronic multiple systems, and connecting them to the resources they need to the families and the youth and transitioning youth and young adults into navigating those systems and connecting with and understanding what they need to navigate those. And we have one-to-one peer navigation like the PTI and the parent-to-parent. And this, like I said, is the Lifespan Respite Washington. It provides a $1,000 voucher for short breaks for caregivers who provide 40 or more hours of unpaid care for a family member, friend, or neighbor. This covers the lifespan. So it's not restricted to children. This is for any caregiver across our state. And person-centered planning, they run person-centered planning out of our office to help families, transitioning youth, understand their potential. What are their dreams? What are their goals? And how do they get there? And then, as I shared, the STOMP is focused on military families, their rights and responsibilities under IDEA and IEPs, 504s, wherever they may be stationed. What does that look like for them? And teach them the skill sets for advocacy, as Patty shared, looking at SSI and Medicaid and how does that impact them as an individual in the military? What are their systems, TRICARE, ECHO, and ABA? And how do they create wills, guardianships, and special needs trusts because of the nature of, especially if they are both actively, active duty military, what are those pieces they need to stay in place, get in place for their children and loved ones? And like I said, Start Now is Life After High School. And it does a series of trainings for students in transition schools. And the advocacy piece for Spark is working with youth and young adults on how to speak up. They are given opportunities to go and observe legislation. They are given opportunities to go into the county and watch how that works and learn those skills about speaking up for themselves. So PAVE is there for across the state for families who need support within those systems. Thank you very much.